G'day. It's just after 7:30 a.m. in the morning. I'm doing my early and easy hour on my indoor bike. So this morning I'd like to talk to you about the importance of sleep. A lot of us invest an awful amount of energy in our physical condition, our training. We think a lot about our diet, but one thing that often we neglect is the importance of sleep. I'm a bit of a nerd. I love to read these academic and scientific journals, and one of my favorites is the journal Nature and Science of Sleep. And I'm going to share some of the latest research related to sport and physiology with you today. So what do we understand? The amount and quality of sleep is really key to our performance. And that's true whether you're an elite professional athlete or a master athlete like us trying to balance work, relationships, family, and our sport. The research shows that on average, a typical professional or elite level athlete, they're trying to get somewhere between 7.5 and 9 hours sleep a night. That is typically about an hour, at least an hour more than the average adult population. So we need to reflect upon that ourselves as well. We need more sleep. Why is sleep important? Okay, it's all about restoration of the mind and body. If sleep is cut short, the first thing that happens is we're not, cleansing out those waste proteins, the buildup of the burning of the dopamine that's happening during the day when we're thinking, we're in cognition, and that creates problems. Some of the research shows that if you're chronically sleep deprived, your brain's not optimally cleaning out those waste products we talked about, you're at risk of early onset Alzheimer's and dementia. The other thing here, of course, is that during sleep is we consolidate our memories, our experiences, and our learning. So it's not just about what you learn on the job, it's also about the experiences and learning you acquire as an athlete. So for me, after a race, after a competition, I keep a race diary. I jot down my learnings, my reflections. I look at that before I go to sleep at night, because I know if I get a good night's sleep, those memories are going to be better laid down and embedded for future, filing and drawing upon. Something else here very, very important is that when we're exercising physically, we're training hard, we release cortisol, we release testosterone. These hormones are completely necessary, but also we need to regulate and clear them out. That happens during sleep. So you can get an imbalance there. If you don't sleep enough, you're not clearing away that cortisol, especially, which is not healthy to have too much of it in our system. Now, equally, there's some good hormones that are released during sleep. For us, very relevant is leptin. That's a hormone that helps to regulate fat and is associated with weight gain, weight loss. If you're not sleeping enough, you don't have enough leptin, then you can also have issues regulating your weight. So very important as well is related to energy. So when we're sleeping, our body is actually producing and storing glycogen, carbohydrates. If you're not sleeping enough, then that storage can be disrupted. So it can actually affect fatigue and post-training or post-race recovery. The research on this is very clear. Some research by the Australian Institute of Sport and other scientific bodies shows that athletes who go with 3 nights of inadequate sleep, they experience a speed to fatigue that's somewhere between 11 and 15% faster than when they're in a well-rested state. So very important for an endurance sport like cycling. But also, it's not just about the endurance stuff, it's also about the power stuff. Some studies show that when you're sleep deprived, there's also there becomes a drop in your maximal power output. They've measured this with leg pressing, with powerlifting, and of course, if you're in cycling and you need to sprint or you need to chase that breakaway, power becomes very important. It's going to decline with lack of sleep. There's something else here which is around focus and decision making. Again, a lot of the studies have looked at sports like basketball or tennis, but I think equally relevant for cycling. When you're sleep deprived, your response time to go down. So if you think about that, you're in a race, you're in a competition, you have to think fast. Whether it's responding to a breakaway or coming into a sprint and really thinking in that last 300 meters about your next move, that's about cognition and speed of cognition. So research shows your response times are going to go down. Not good if you want to win bike races. The other thing here relates to moodiness. So people who don't sleep enough, they tend to be a little bit more miserable, a little bit more moody. That can affect their relationships. And again, research shows that if you're an athlete and you're wanting to perform, if other things in your life are not going well, your relationships, your partnerships with other people, then that can also affect your performance. So, I've given you a quick sort of 5-minute summary of the importance of sleep. So what's my advice to you? Sleep well and perform well. In the next episode, what I will go into are some of the practical tips and tricks to actually help you to get a good night's sleep.